Hey everybody, welcome to the Instagood show. This is the Instagram show all about Instagram. It is to help you get Instagood at Instagram, and I'm with Kenny today. What's up, man?
How are you, Seth Muse?
Super, super. I'm super excited about this because you know how much I love Instagram, and I'm pumped that we get to do this now. We're going to do this show pretty much every week, and it's to help churches get good at this platform that I think has so much potential to reach people, do ministry, and connect them to their audience. So I'm excited about this. Thanks for this, man.
This is what I have for you today. The fun meter is going to the max.
That's so... All right. I'm glad you brought the fun meter.
You don't have your own fun meter?
Oh, dude. At any time, if you feel like, man, this is not going well, just bring up the fun meter and let it go. Okay, got it. Okay, moving on. Oh man, I'm so excited to do this show. This is going to be so great. If your church is on Instagram or trying Instagram or you haven't even touched it, this is a great opportunity to kind of explore some of the stuff that it can do and how you can leverage it to make conversations happen with your people, to make connections happen, and to start a kind of a community on Instagram in a way that is a little different than quite different than Facebook can do, because there's so many things between stories, feed, the grid. I actually posted about the grid and not prioritizing the grid over the feed yesterday, and people weren't ready for that, I don't think, but we can talk about that in here too. But Kenny, what are you excited about this show?
I'm excited. One, to spend time with you, to see you on a weekly basis. I'm excited because you know what? It's 2020, and it is time for churches to get on the Instagram train.
I agree. With the way Facebook has gone, and the way that, what is it now? 1% see your post that you post on a page, before they start sampling it to more people that follow you. It's just like Instagram's a little better, than that. It's kind of along the par of a groups, for Facebook, but as far as what people can see. So I think it's time to really get into this, but there's some news coming up, new features. We'll start with news of the day for Instagram. They are rolling out DMs in the desktop Instagram experience. That's new. That's coming. If you don't have that yet, it's probably coming to you soon. But when you log in on a laptop to Instagram.com and sign in, you've always been able to I think even, can you post? I never used it. Can you post?
Yes.
I think you can post. Yeah. I know you can do IGTV. That's pretty much the best way, I think, to do IGTV, because then you can optimize it and get it onto your feed. But Instagram desktop experience is actually pretty good if you're a desktop user. I know that for me, I don't know about you, Kenny, my thumbs are super clumsy. Like, I'm really, like, you don't want me designing anything on my phone. You don't want, and typing is a mess. So, I mean, just being able to do that on my desktop is going to be really nice. You've always been able to do comments and like respond to people, but now the direct message will be a part of it as well. And that's going to be really great for those of us who are, I don't know, maybe less mobile friendly fingers. And, we're able to do this from our desktop and type a little faster. That might be kind of cool. What do you think?
I think it'll be good for the world.
And you know what's cool too is, like, now you can be working on Instagram and not on your phone, because I know what it looks like when people walk by your office and you're on your phone. They're like, God, they're not even working. It's like they're not doing anything. They're on their phones because they don't understand that this is our workplace, is our mobile phone a lot of the time. So that could be pretty cool. I think that could be a cool thing.
Yes. One of the things that I think is that outside of the productivity, it's going to, I think, open up new ideas, because your workflow is different, right? The place and time and how you interacting with the platform is different. So I think you might see some unintended consequences as well.
Yeah, it could actually really help you come up with some new content ideas, new, strategies for Instagram, new ways to look at the platform. It's a whole new world. Shining, shimmering, splendid. Just tell me, princess, when did you last let your heart decide, right?
Exactly.
So anyway, all right. So FAQs of the week, frequently asked questions of Instagram. Let's go to that. This one this week is a common question. We start with this. It is, do I need to make my Instagram account for my church a business account, a personal account, or now the new creator account? Which
Ooh.
one do I really need? Kenny, I'm going to let you take a stab at that. What do you think?
So first of all, I don't think there's at least one easy step for me. It should not be a personal account. At this point, the insights and benefits you get should turn it over to a business account. The question on this creator account, I'm not exactly sure. I think it's a toss-up. My gut tells me you probably do want to flip it over.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your position on it so far?
Man, I really haven't found anything in the creator account that you can't really do in the business account that you would want to do. For me, as a church organization, what I'm really looking at is there are two big things that the business account can do for sure that I think churches need to take advantage of. You mentioned one is analytics. You can get a lot of decent analytics on your Instagram audience and who you're talking to, what posts and what things are performing well. And now as Instagram starts to roll out the disappearing likes, you won't be able to see likes. It's going to be really important you're able to see that on the back end so you can know what kind of content is working. Mm-hmm. And because the likes won't be there for everybody else, it'll free you up to, do kind of what you want to do instead of feeling like you have to do things for the gram. Right. So that's good. And the other one I think is the ability to run ads. I think ability to run any kind of ad to your Instagram is a helpful thing. So I think those two things are beneficial for sure. And so a church should look at the business account as probably their go-to for me. So, all right. I think I answered that question. And if anybody has comments or questions about that, drop those in the comments of this video and let us know. We'll come back and answer those later. If you have questions about what those things do, we'll get into a deeper dive there if you want to do that. All right, let's do the tip of the week. Instagram tip of the week. I'm really excited about this, Kenny, because this is, man, I just want to see what happens, right? This is
my notebook up. I'm taking notes. All
right, this is an experiment. Let's see what happens. I want everybody to try to do something disruptive on your Instagram feed this week. So what I mean by that is if you're constantly posting one type of post or you have a way you do it, do something that doesn't match that at all. Do something that completely goes off in left field to see what happens. Because at the end of the day, we're really trying to stop the scroll, get people to pay attention, respond to what you're doing. So if your Instagram feed is normally like pretty raw stuff that's not really produced, try producing something, or vice versa. If it's really produced, try doing something like a photo of a handwritten thing or whatever, and try something that you don't normally try. And then that way you can see some analytics, and I'd love to see how that goes. So post in this video, or you just email me, Seth@SethMuse.com, and I'll use one of those next week. We'll show kind of what happened and share one of those stories to see how that goes. Because I think if you're trying to be a little disruptive every once in a while with your feed, it can really boost that post's stats, but what that ends up doing is helping you with the next post. So do something disruptive, and then your next post, let that be a really important vision casting thing, or important, even if it's an announcement, do your announcement after that, whatever you want more people to see next, which I don't really go for announcements on Instagram, but like that helps your algorithm really boost the next stuff that's coming up when they see that your previous post really did well. So try that this week. Try something disruptive. See what happens. I mean, who knows? You might find do a meme. Create a meme somewhere and do that. It's Friday tomorrow. It's a great day for Fun Day Friday, right? Or Friday Fun Day. You can use either one of those hashtags. That's fun.
I think it's hard though, right, for people to get out of their rhythm, and they feel like it's a risk when it's not, right? I mean, I think one of the things that I want to remind people is think of Twitter. Twitter is like a river. It's like a river flowing by you, and what you put in there goes downriver quickly. What we call the decay rate is pretty quick. Mm-hmm. Social media in general is a place where you can experiment once in a while. And so that challenge that you're putting out, Seth, I think is really something that everyone should put to heart and see what happens. I mean, if you're not experimenting as a communicator and seeing how your community responds to it, then what are you doing out there, right?
Yeah. And I think I look at social media as kind of a sandbox. So you can play around, try some things, and see what works. And you always kind of need to have an element of that in what you're doing because it changes so fast. You need to be able to adapt to some of the trends and things that you see. And Instagram is no different. So when you're trying things on Instagram, especially if you don't have much of an audience there, that could be a really great opportunity for you as you're trying things to see what works. And so even if you get something going and you have a good steady flow of what your Instagram is like, every once in a while, I mean, we all saw Elevation Church months ago, maybe last year sometime, throw out some really ugly looking stuff that looked like it was done in Microsoft Paint. And it was like on purpose to get people to go, what? And we took the bait, man. A whole church communications community shared the heck out of that. I mean, we blew that up for them, and it did exactly what it was trying to do. So it's a tactic. I wouldn't do it all the time, but you always need to be thinking ahead of what else can I do, which leads me to a post like that for the post of the week that I want to share. On Instagram, I follow this guy. His name, he's called The Dope Educator. And I love this guy. He's a great teacher, and all his stuff is based on education. So my parents were both teachers. My mother-in-law was a teacher. I actually substitute taught it at schools when I was a youth pastor in my hometown. So, I mean, this is like a big deal. I follow this education train a little bit here on Instagram, and it's really interesting. He did something, he found a post somewhere and he shared it, but it's so on brand for him. I think this is the guy, he's an African-American teacher. I think he's in Chicago area, I want to say, I'm not sure, but he's the one that has like the handshake that's unique for every one of the kids, and they come into the room and they do their handshake. Have you seen that guy?
Yes, I think, or someone like him, but yes, I think I know what you're talking about.
I think it's the same guy. But this guy is really, really great. So he shared this post. I'm going to put it up on the screen. And it's just a whiteboard post. You can see it right here. It says, it has this difficult math question. It says, Jesus is always the answer. But the teacher wrote, not on this question, -5. I thought that was really
Not
fun.
on this question.
Not on this question, -5. It's like, nice try. I get what you're doing. The caption says, Happy Sunday. Faith without work is dead. Read it thoroughly. Which is great. It goes right along with the post. It's right on brand for him. It's not this flashy designed thing, but it works. And it's so funny too. And I think that churches miss out in this kind of post because it has to be so pretty. Sometimes we miss the humor or the fun, because this fun and humor looks a lot like this. You know, it's not pretty all the time, but it is funny. So this kind of post, I wouldn't say do this for your church necessarily, but something like this might work for you as a disruptive post. I really like it. What do you think, Kenny? You like that one?
I do think that brands should take a risk once in a while, because people don't have relationship with brands or organizations or institutions. People have relationships with people. Yeah. And what our job as social media managers, I think, is continuously push to break through that glass, right? Whether it's the glass on your phone or the glass on your laptop, really trying to humanize the voice on the other side of the glass is something that we always have to be aware of. This obviously does, right? Who can read that in a church community and not get a chuckle out of it?
Right. It's funny. I mean, it's clean, fun. It's like dad joke humor almost, and that works. So it's something to consider as you're looking at your content for the next week. And when I was doing this for church, I like to save this kind of post for Friday, because Friday kind of has this, I don't know if you're in the office on Friday or what, but Friday's kind of a lazy day. Most pastors don't work on Friday, so it was just us in the office. There's hashtags for Fun Day Friday and Friday Fun Day that we could tag into that kind of made sense. People are ready to go home. They're looking for a reason to be distracted at work. So this kind of stuff worked for a Friday post. So try it on a Friday, and that's tomorrow. This is Thursday, so try it tomorrow. See if you wanted to do something like that, make a meme, do something funny like that. But again, disrupt the flow. All right. Well, that brings me to the actual homework assignment for this week, the Insta homework assignment. We'd love to get your favorite post that your church did. If you saw a church that did one that was really great on Instagram, screenshot it, send it to us. You can either post it in the comments here, or you can send it to Seth@SethMuse.com. And I'll use one of those next week on the show to kind of break it down. I want to see the post, but I also want to know why you thought it was good. Like, what did
Yeah.
you like about it? Let's really like break that post down and see what churches are doing that is working on Instagram, and kind of look at some numbers there, or look at, the aesthetic of it, or whatever it is you liked about it. We'll break that down and talk through it. I think that's really helpful, Kenny, when we see what others are doing, because I think it's I don't know what it is. It's just easy to follow each other on Instagram, but it's harder to kind of keep track of anything but the big churches. It's like really nice to see what other people that are maybe 1,000 people or 500 people are doing, or whatever, they're doing it well. That's my opinion.
And to be honest, I think those are the places where you'll find the creativity, because the larger you get, you actually become an institution. There is this thing called bureaucracy, in the good and the bad ways. But what happens is, the larger the church, the more conservative the boundaries are for that church social media manager, right? And so if you really want to see what's creative, I don't think looking at the big box churches are the best place, or you definitely shouldn't limit yourself there.
No, not at all. And you can get some ideas, but you got to take those and make them your own, because every expression of the church has a unique flavor and unique design that God has put you there for a purpose, to reach those specific people. Not every church is called to have 10,000 followers so you can have the swipe up link in your stories. It's like, that's not necessarily a goal you should really be chasing super hard for the sake of having it. It's like, reach people that you have, that you can actually connect with. And I always like that when you look at churches, you see what they're doing. It's like when you go to the conferences, right? Like, we've all been to church conferences, and you go to I used to come from a church of 150, and I was a youth pastor, and I go to a youth conference, and I hear Doug Fields speak, and I'd be at the Second Baptist Church in Houston or whatever, and it's like this airplane coming out of the wall in the youth room, and you could go sit in it, and there's video games. I was like, man, this would be really cool if we did this, all the lights and smoke. But I go back to my little place where I have a room that's like 10 by 15 to work with for my student ministry. Like, I can't get an airplane in here too. It's like, I can't do that. I don't have the money for that. So you got to figure out what kind of concepts come from this conference that I can take back and use for me in my context. And that's the same with Instagram. When churches copy each other, I think we really just lose so much creativity. You can take ideas, but make them your own. And this is a great way to do that. So I'm excited to do that next week. Look at these posts, see what other churches are doing, and just kind of start feeding the community some good ideas for Instagram. Well, that's it for today's show. Short and sweet today. We'll be back next week, Thursday, around noon-ish, probably noon Eastern time. I think it's going to be noon Eastern time. Somewhere around there. We'll let you know.
The idea is that we're going to, first of all, I think we have to back up and thank you, Seth, for stepping in here and sharing your wisdom. I really hope that this community takes a look at what we're doing here and chime in, right? Like, we want to be radically helpful for all of you out here, and that's why we created the show. The Insta Good Show at Seth Muse is going to be a recurring thing, Facebook Live in the group every single week. We actually have other shows lined up for every other day, so very soon you're going to see, hopefully, 5 days a week live shows around the lunchtime period. And the idea is that you can hop in and join the community midday and meet some other fellow peers, interact, and more importantly, learn. We want to niche down. We've been getting the feedback that the content in the group has grown to a point where it's just random all over the place, and you guys are missing the good old days where there was some really good tangible learning and trading of best practices and even the failures, right, Seth? I mean, some of the stuff that used to be sharing what didn't work sometimes is even more valuable, right?
Yeah, for me, I think that's huge.
I think that's huge
because part of my real expertise, or whatever you want to call it, comes from just trying stuff and it not working, and then trying to figure out why it didn't work and make it better next time. And that's always just my personality. I'm like that. I like failure is part of it, and it's okay. Some people aren't wired that way, but I am. And man, just being able to share that experience or have others share it with me is what encouraged me to grow and learn more. And I think that's just really, really valuable. There are some best practices, but again, your expression, your context is going to be different, and it's going to look a little different. So I'm excited to help churches get started with Instagram and really start digging into this platform. I think they're going to need to. really bad in the next, especially in 2020. And Instagram is growing. It is expanding. It is throwing some really cool stuff out and not even talking about it anymore. This last update, they didn't even want to say anything. So it's like they just did it. And we're like, yeah, we don't have time to talk about it, man. We're doing too much. Here it is. Go have fun. And you're like, wow, look at all the stuff you can do. So it's going to be great, man. I'm excited about where this group is going as well, and just trying to impact churches. And at the end of the day, we all want to see people connect with Jesus. And this is our tool. This is our ministry. This is how we support that vision. And so I'm excited to help people do this better and really learn and grow. So,
and I think this is the big difference between broadcast and what we're doing here is that this is interactive, this is social. There's a reason why we're trying to do this stuff live. Yeah. Is I don't think Seth wants to sit here and speak out to the airwaves like as if it's a radio program, not knowing what's going on the other side. Nope. I think, and that's why we've got both of us on here today, right? Conversation partners are great. I expect that you're going to bring in a lot of other guests on the show throughout the year. And hopefully this is just the start of something good, that we really want to figure out how to make this the living laboratory, and we can talk shop with each other. Yeah. And you can dream big, but you can discuss your flops and failures and figure out how to learn from it so that you don't need to do that in front of your peers, staff, and your own church. Yeah. Do that here. It's almost like this is the break room, right? Like for church people.
I always tell people when I tell people, like, I learned how to play drums in front of people, and they were like, how did you learn how to do that? I was like, I got on stage and I sucked for a long time until I didn't. And that's just kind of what I had to do that. I would rather not have to do that, but that's what I had to do. So it's like, this is a great place to not have to do that, but you can go and just kind of suck here in front of people, and then we'll help you out and you'll get better. Because we've all got something to learn. Man, I'm learning so much every day from these Instagram people that I'm following that are just way ahead of me. And I'm like, gosh, you guys, I don't know how you keep up with it. So anyway, well, that's the Insta Good Show. That's what it's going to be about. And I'm excited to be here. We'll be here next week helping your church get Insta Good at Instagram. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you later.
See you next week.
See ya.